Hello again, students, and welcome back to Ms. Bullock's Flipped Classroom. Today we're going to be working on Week 3 SAT/ACT vocabulary words in the Frayer format. So let's begin. The first word of the week is compromise. Compromise means to settle differences. Now, in a compromise, no one is going to get his or her exact way. They're going to have to work together to come to a compromise and agreement. So, give me an example of a compromise from your life and the opposite of a compromise from your life. Our next word is condescending. Condescending means someone believes and they act in a way that shows that they are better than you or that they're stuck up. So they think you are not quite as good and they act in a way that shows that. So give me an example of someone who is condescending in your life. Give me a non-example of someone. All right. Our next word is conditional. Conditional means it comes with provisions. It comes with conditions that have to be met. Okay? So it is going to be an agreement. It's going to be somewhat similar to a contract. So give me an example of a conditional agreement that you've made with someone. It has conditions. You'll only do this if that happens. Now give me a non-example of something conditional from your life. Our next word for the week is conformist. A conformist is someone who is very traditional. They're going to follow social customs and traditions. So they're going to be very traditional and they're going to stick to the rules. So give me an example of someone in your life who is a conformist. Now give me an example of someone in your life who is not a conformist. Our next word for the week is congregation. A congregation is a crowd of people. So it's going to mean quite a few people, and they're all going to gather together. So give me an example of a group that might gather together that you know of in your life. Now give me an example of a single person or someone who refuses to get in with a congregation. Our next word for the week is convergence. Convergence means a joining of parts. They're going to come together. So at least two, but up to 1,000,000 parts joining together. So give me an example of things that join together in your life that create a convergence. Now give me an example of something that will not converge with anything else. Our next word for the week is deleterious. Deleterious means harmful. So it's going to be something that is dangerous or bad for you. So give me an example of something that you know of in your life which is deleterious. Now give me an example that is the opposite of deleterious. Our next word for the week is demagogue. A demagogue is a leader who causes people to become very passionate. So they're going to be a leader, they're probably going to give speeches, and then on top of that, they're going to cause people's passions and emotions to run high. So give me an example that you can think of a person who causes these things. That person would be a demagogue. Now give me an example of someone who does not. That person would be the opposite of a demagogue. Our next word is digression. Digression is straying from the point, so it's not going to be on task. Now, many of you have probably had several digressions at some point during your schoolwork. So, give me an example of what would be a digression with schoolwork. Give me an example of what would not be a digression with schoolwork. And our last word for the week is diligent. Diligent means hardworking. So this person is going to work and try very hard. So if you remember from last week, we had another word that meant the exact same thing. It's assiduous. So a person who is diligent is also a person who is assiduous. So give me an example of someone you know in your life who is very diligent. And then give me an example of someone in your life who is not at all diligent. Okay, well those are our words for week 3. Be sure to study for your vocab quiz, and I'll see you in class.